Hello and good evening. Welcome back to another live event with the Army Reenlistment team. Tonight we are a little bit short. It's myself hosting tonight, and we have Storm First Class Block who will be co-hosting with me. So we have three special guests tonight. Up in the top left, we have Master Sergeant Conway, who is the 79 Romeo proponent. In the top right, we have Master Sergeant Guevara, who is the 79th Sierra branch manager. And in the bottom right, we have Master Sergeant Woodside, who is the 79th Sierra proponent. So before we go in, again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and we are going to kick things off with Master Sergeant Guevara. So if you don't mind, go ahead and let the audience know who you are, what you do, and yeah, let's get started.
Hey, good evening. Thank you, Sergeant Waterbury, for having us. Sergeant First Class Block for inviting us on here. It's a great opportunity to put us get some information out to the audience, to the field, to the Army, right? So my name is Master Sergeant Guevara. I'm the 79th Sierra Branch Manager, the Talent Management NCO. I'm here at HRC at Fort Knox, Kentucky. I've been a counselor since March of 2010, so about 11 years now. So this is all I know. I'm pretty versed in the field, so I'm here to answer any questions that you guys or girls may have, and I look forward to it.
Awesome. So, could you tell me what exactly you do? So, we know you're a branch manager for 79 Sierras, and there's a lot of different branch managers up there at HRC, but what exactly do you do from your foxhole for RCMF?
So it's a lot about career progression and assignment diversity, right? What's best for you in your career path? What's your best next move? What's going to help you set you up for success for promotion, right? There's a lot of needs, wants, and desires, but there's also Army readiness that we have to balance, right?
Gotcha.
So it's meshing the two, and hopefully we can come to a common ground and figure it out.
Gotcha. Okay, so I really feel like we have tonight probably two of like the most talked about career moves out there. We have the career counselors. You on one hand, you have soldiers who always want to reclass to be the career counselors. On the other hand, we have the recruiters, whether they choose to be the recruiter or they get DA selected. So, Baston Conway, go ahead and tell our audience who you are and what you do for your portion of the CMF 79s.
Great. Hey team, how you doing? My name is Master Sergeant Conway. I'm the Personnel Development NCO, aka the Proponent for the 79 Romeos. I've been in recruiting since about 2005. Served in positions as a recruiter, station commander, first sergeant, and now work at Fort Knox for the Proponent. Some of the main things that I do, our position is we oversee DAPAM 600-25, which talks about, what promotion potential looks like for a board. We also do all of the analysis for the post-promotion boards, which now is kind of like the most qualified list of those who got selected. And we oversee the programs such as USMAP and the SHRM CP credentialing opportunity.
Okay, so I've heard of the SHRM CP, and I really think that will be a great program that we will talk a little bit more in detail about that. But we're going to switch gears real quick one more time, and Master Sergeant Woodside. Now, I'm going to warn you, we have a lot of people in this audience who want to be 79 Sierras. Everybody wants to be a career counselor. So if you guys are watching tonight, this man right here, he might see your packet. So Master Sergeant Woodside, let us know what you do.
All right, so my name is Master Sergeant Woodside, originally from Philadelphia. Came in the Army back in 2000. Been a career counselor since 2008, so about 14, just right around 14 years, beginning of 2008. And I'm the 79 Sierra proponent. So everything that Master Sergeant Conway said, we pretty much do the same thing. There's a couple extra things that I do on my end. All, like you said, all the 79 Sierra packets, they come through my desk. I don't approve them, so don't treat me. You get disapproved. I'm a secretary, okay? So I go ahead and
they're about to go look you up in Global real quick and send you all the hate mail.
Yeah, I'm the only Woody Woodside in Global. I put my name up there so you guys can see me. Yeah, so I also do the 79 Sierra packets. And just like Master Sergeant Conway said, I do the DAPAM 611-21, DAPAM 600-25. We do all the updates for our MOSs in them. I would go on the road and do Dart, help instruct Dart, help the instructors out with that. Post-board analysis, like he said, credentialing with the SHRM. ALC constructed credit right now is a big thing for us for the career counselors that graduate the career counselor course and don't have ALC yet. It's a headache, but it's got to be done. And
right.
Yeah, it's rough getting that done.
Right. Now I know Master and Conway, before we had went offline, we had a conversation about that as well. That's something that you're working on for the 79 Sierras the 79 Romeos, is that constructive credit as well, right?
Yeah, we just had a big conversation, and also I'd be remiss to say Sergeant Major Cole is on. He's the proponent Sergeant Major for CMF 79, so he is in the background. He might either pop in the comments or come on the mic as well to spread some information. Okay. But we did have a meeting about that probably about an hour or so ago with TRADOC about constructive credit and what it looks like for the way ahead of what their expectation management is of how we need to send those packets up to get those personnel that are sitting in the holding status. So the good news is help is on the way. They gave us some direct feedback about what we need to do in the immediate interim right now to kind of move some of those packets that's been kind of stuck up there for the last 2 or 3 months up there to get those freed up and get approved.
Gotcha. Cool. So, it's so important to take care of. I think a lot of people don't realize that, we have these proponent personnel who are really pushing, trying to make this change in the career field across the Army alone. But speaking of like the change, we are going through these new promotion, these evaluation boards. We have a new enlisted manning cycle. Master Sergeant Guevara, can you tell me, so now that we are so OML based with these numbers, what kind of impact does your OML have on what type of assignment that you can get?
So I'll use the Sergeant First Class Evaluation Board that just happened a few months ago, and they have OMLs, right? So some of those Sergeant First Classes, based off of their OML, I'm going to be able to slot in Master Sergeant positions because of projected promotions that will be happening. So that's cool. That's one way that OMLs will factor in.
Gotcha. So let's just say, to play devil's advocate, say you don't have one of the greatest OML numbers. Does that mean you may not get one of those more exciting assignments, or is it still how it lines up with timing?
There's a lot of factors, right? There's a lot of factors, timing, positions, vacancies, shortages, right? So opportunity knocks, take it, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm looking for a senior position and a Master Sergeant position, you're a Sergeant First Class, and I offer it to you, please take it, right? Please take that opportunity regardless of the location. It's more the position versus the location. So, and that's how you move yourself, you work yourself up, right? Go to career counseling of the year boards, go to school. You got to do things to set yourself apart from your peers. So there's different ways to move up.
Yeah, I know. Like when I was in my battalion before I came up to the SFAC, I used to tell my soldiers all the time, going to these fun places like Florida and just assignments like that sounds great, but sometimes that's not what your career needs. So it's just, you guys are there to help guide us. And I tell my soldiers still, don't be afraid to reach out to your branch manager, because even though you're our 79 Sierra branch manager, I tell my 13s, go talk to your branch manager, send them an email, something. But so pretty excited about that. So our next question is going to go to one of our proponents. So I kind of have an idea, but for everyone who's listening in right now, somebody tell me, what is proponent? In a nutshell, if you had to give me your elevator speech, what's a proponent?
So I'll take it real quick, and then you can correct me, Master Sergeant Conway, because I've only been doing this for a couple months. He's been doing this much longer. Best 79 Romeo proponent in the Army right now. So the way I look at it as career counselors, we always look at the way I look at it is career counselors, we like to take care of our soldiers, right? We take care of everybody in our battalion or brigade or whatever our size of our footprint is. I look at myself as the career counselor for the career counselors. I'm here to help you with your career. And I'm looking at promotions, I'm looking at education opportunities and things like that. In a nutshell, that's the way I view it. The Army views proponency with the .mil PF. We fall under a little piece of that. We're personnel. It's an acronym. So if you don't know the acronym, Master Sergeant Conway schooled me on that. But that's the way I view it. I don't know if Master Sergeant Conway views it any different.
No, he did a great job. He explained it. The best key word to know what the proponent does is we are the watchdogs for the MOS. So basically, we are the guardians of our MOS. So how do we guard the MOS? Okay. For one, we watch for structure. Structure impacts promotions. So we have to make sure that we are not too overstrength or not too understrength, because that could impact how we bring people in MOS or who we need to retain in MOS. That's number one. Mm-hmm. We also monitor promotion potential of what that looks like and try to get that out to the field while we do promotion analysis for the field to see of what does promotion potential look like from a board point of view, how your progression is. And that's what the DA PAM kind of tells you. And there's a lot of other small little functions we do in there, but those are the two biggest things of how to utilize us. We're protecting the MOS as far as the structure, and also we are showing you what you need to do to get promoted. That's the biggest two things I can leave with you.
Gotcha. So, and just to add to that for anyone who's watching, so if you've ever had to, or if you've ever wanted to reclass and say you were short on one of the prereqs, a lot of times your career counselor will either tell you to reach out to your proponent, or your career counselor will reach out proponent, because those are the guys, like you just said, they're the watchdogs. So, they're going to be the ones who tell you, yes, we'll take you if you're short 1 point on a score or something like that. So proponent, branch managers, two different entities. Usually the proponent is not even stationed with the branch manager at HRC. So definitely, I believe it's on the HRC website too. You can see the difference and figure out where they're located. Usually they're didn't you say the regimental? They're located with the schoolhouse usually?
A lot of them are, yes.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So you briefly mentioned, Master Sergeant Conway, something about a SHRM CP. Would you or Master Sergeant Woodside kind of caveat on that a little bit and let people know what that is?
Sure. I'll introduction to it. So the SHRM CP is a Society for Human Resource certified professional credential. How we came about this credential, well, for our MOS, our CMF to say, we have about 13 associated credentials on the Army Cool website. Our team conducted a comparative analysis of each of those credentials to see what is the closest thing that we can do to bring to our CMF that our soldiers could gravitate towards and take advantage of. Well, based on our comparative analysis, the SHRM CP was the highlighted credential that we saw most of the things that you're doing throughout your career, whether you're 79 Romeo, Sierra, Tango, or the Victors as well, our brothers and sisters in arms, associated with this credential. So right now, there's two ways you can go about obtaining this credential. One is called IDC, where we actually pay for everything up front. We're in the second year of our pilot. The first year, we had about 65 personnel that went through. They did outstanding. We got about a 62% pass rate, which is above the national average. And then right now, we are in pilot number 2. We're getting ready to kick off here in a couple of weeks, where we got about 50 personnel across the CMF. So we pay for books, learning system access, membership, and the actual test up front. And we also have a virtual instruction from the actual SHRM certified instructors from the Society of Human Resource Management in Alexandria, Virginia. The second part, cool. If you're not selected for the pilot, you can go onto the Army Ignite website and use your CA. It's the same as TA funds. You get the same $4,000 pot, and it will pay for all the same things up front. Learning system access, books, virtual training, and actual exam as well. So it's a great credential to get, because for number one, not only does it go on your SRBs and ARBs under technical certifications, in the future, we're going to put it in the DA PAM. Like someone has a SHRM CP plus a degree is going to place you further ahead of your peers.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's definitely something worth looking into. Like you said, if you didn't get selected for the pilot, it's definitely worth using that credential assistance because let's be honest, a lot of people is not taking advantage of that money, and it's basically free money to get some sort of education while you're still serving. So that's interesting. I believe we had a question for you, Masson, through the comments. Sarn Block, she so the question says, I'm an E7 AGR soldier and I'm trying to volunteer as detail recruiter for the first 3 years. Would I get location preference when volunteering, and how fast would I PCS once course is completed? That's an interesting one.
Well, I can't answer. I'm not fully invested. Well, this is a G1 question, but I'll help you out as best as possible. The first part of your question is you will get a preference assignment locations. You'll get a list to try to find out where would you like to go within that preference sheet, and it's going to be based on, what's available at the time, and if you have any situations like EMFP, married couple issues, those kind of take priority.
Gotcha.
So it is possible you could get somewhere close to where you want to go. I'm not going to say pinpoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
How fast it happens really just depends. Usually what we've been seeing, anywhere between 3 to 6 months after you graduate the course, you can be put on assignment, and that also goes into the location. So there's a location you have to go, and they have to fill it. It may take a little bit longer for that location to open up so they can put you there. And it could be as quick as, 60 to 90 days, just depending on where the location is as well.
Gotcha. So here's a silly question. Now, we're all active duty because this AGR question just sparked it for me. Do the AGR soldiers, do you guys still service them, or are you guys only active duty?
No, we both AGR and active duty.
Okay.
Now for assignment, the assignment process for the RA, RG1 handles all assignments, but for the AGR soldiers, their assignments are handled at HRC.
What about you, Master Guevara? Are you only active duty?
I am only active duty. AGR has their own branch up there at HRC.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Another question for you, Master Conway. What is the loose estimate of 79 Romeos that will be promoted to Master Sergeant this year? I don't know if that's a fair question.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Me and Sergeant Major Cole, we called up there to HRC, to the promotions branch, and even we talked with the DA Secretary and Master Sergeant Grant, and even he said that they do not release the numbers for the year, unfortunately. And the reason they do that is because they don't want to confuse everybody by pushing out numbers that may not be true. So the best estimate for promotions are going to be on a quarterly projection, which is posted on HRC's website. Right now they have it through the second quarter, and I will assume in a couple of weeks it should be third quarter's release, and that's going to be the best guesstimate of how many people that you'll get on a quarter by quarter basis. So nobody right now can tell you how many they're going to promote for the year, because those numbers change as people ETS out the Army. Situations happen, so those numbers may go up or they may go down just based on the strengths.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's fair, and it's just everyone wants to go ahead and move up, but still, we need to the Army. We got to match those end strengths. So I believe we have a question for Master Guevara. So with the new ASCM, he says, I hear you're talking about positions and how far in advance from PCS will you know? And are they going to give you a choice based on needs of the Army or your recommendations? So if I'm reading that correctly, yeah, go ahead, Master Guevara.
I can talk about that a little bit. We work the assignments about 9 to 11 months out, right? So when you've been on station, your YMAP will hit you at 36 months. We'll start working your assignment. You'll enter the market about 23, 24, 25 months time on station, right? And you'll report usually on your 37th month, right? That's in the perfect scenario. The assignments are going to be based off qualification, right? Some will require a TS, SQI, ASI. So all those will factor into those assignment preferences, right? OML will have some weight on that also. So it just depends. There's a lot of factors in this algorithm when it matches you up to a requisition. And it's our job to look at it and make sure it makes sense once it closes. There's an ongoing market right now. I still have a few soldiers that have not preference. They will be receiving an email letting them know that they need a preference, and they need to preference all their assignments, right? So if you only preference 1 through 5 and you leave the next one's blank, they'll all be number 6. So it's important to preference all your assignments.
So what happens if you don't preference?
Well, you can't complain when
Did you hear
you
me?
get slotted to an assignment. Right.
Wait, so you
Uh,
really gonna be new to the Army?
right.
Okay,
And
we got
that's
another question from.
bottom line.
Yeah, we got another question for you from Joel Nunez. How involved are you when it comes to slotting counselors and recruiters in SOC and MLC?
Oh, that's a good question, Sarninius. That's a great question, but that's promotions and schools branch. There's the one that handle that, right? Well, if I was in the building, we could walk over and ask and see what they're looking like. But since we're not in the building, I don't really get involved with that. But that's schools branch.
Well, and if our people that are on right now
Can I,
are watching, stay tuned. We will have someone from the schools
Oh,
branch
perfect,
on our show here very soon. So stay tuned. Go ahead. Who somebody
perfect.
wanted to hit that one up as well?
now I was going to just add on to
Okay.
that. That
All
the
right.
biggest thing that it is tied to your OML as well. So obviously there's some opportunities to go to school a little bit earlier via slots available, but those schools are typically reserved based on the OML number, so the Army can promote in line with what your OML is to kind of keep that sequence going accordingly. So if you have a lower OML, you can probably guesstimate you're going to go to school first. If you have a higher OML, you might be
Yeah.
waiting a little bit, but that should not stop you from going ahead and getting with your leadership to request if there's any walk-on slots for the OMLs for schools, because there are a lot of walk-on slots sometimes.
So,
Absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay.
can I jump on that too?
I wanted to
Just
jump
share?
in right quick,
Go ahead.
kind of for the group when it comes to like MLC and OMLs, right? So if a soldier has a low OML number, right? However, doesn't mean the time and grade and doesn't have MLC, would they get skipped for the person who does have the time and grade that's next, like to go to MLC first? Or is it just like you have a lower OML, like I'm number 5, I don't meet the time and grade, but I don't have MLC either, so I'm going to still go to MLC, and then but somebody who's like 46 who has the time and grade but doesn't have MLC, like would they get swapped around? That I'm
No,
just curious.
that's a great question. The answer is no. When OML is formulated, and that promotion board formulates the who's qualified to be on the board, they take that into account. So anybody that would not be qualified for promotion, they're not even going to populate on OML at all. So they know that somebody OML number 5 could go to school first, but they might not be able to pin on because they would have to hit their 24 months time and grade. But they might be still school qualified and just pin in to hit that particular mark once they reach the time and grade to pin on. So your time and grade is not going to stop you from going to school before someone else. And that's one of the new reasons this new evaluation system took place. Remember, under the old system, they would have an OML still, but how they would sort the OML, it would get sorted by time and grade and time and service. So somebody that was longer in the tooth, let's say, they would go to like number 1 on the OML, and somebody that was the youngest person on the OML would go to last. So this new evaluation process takes that out of play. So it's just based on how the board voted your records.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you.
I got a really good question for Master Sergeant Guevara. How do YMAVs work for MAC-P couples? Do they each have separate YMAVs, or is that a way to request a match YMAV with the spouse?
Right, so that's a great question, and those are being screened and worked. Right, the goal is to match them up so they both enter the market at the same time, and we're usually going to go with the latter YMAV. Right, whoever is farthest out, we're going to match them up to that one. So if it doesn't match, email your branch manager so we can get them squared away.
Gotcha. Awesome. Okay, so real quick, I got one that probably a lot of our viewers want to know. Master Sergeant Woodside.
Yes.
So for a while, 79 Sierras had stopped completely taking 79 Sierra, or I'm sorry, staff sergeants. I heard that there's some changes that might be coming. Can you give us a little hint on what's coming?
So we are looking at updating the prerequisites for 79 Sierra. We pretty much have everything figured out, but it hasn't been approved yet. So it's still in the not approved stage, I guess, whatever you want to call it. But since most packets for staff sergeants that have less than a year, we're getting approved anyway. And we don't, and it takes a while to get to school and things like that. We're looking at making it to where staff sergeants with less than a year are going to, less than a year time and grade, are going to be eligible to reclass. Now they can still put in a waiver as well if they're over that time and grade, as long as some other prerequisites as well. So if there's if you have a packet and you feel like that you're a good candidate to be a career counselor, but maybe there's one area that you don't quite meet the prerequisite for, I would encourage you to put in an exception policy.
Gotcha. Yes. And I tell people that all the time, but I still feel like they're too scared. I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? They say no, right? But you got to try. Right. So, Master Sergeant Guevara, here's another one for you. Does the marketplace show all available assignments available in our window, or is it just a handful of selected assignments?
So the purpose of the marketplace is for full transparency, right? So you can see all the available assignments in the market at that time, right? Once the market closes, a week later, the next day, something else can open up. But at this time, you see all available assignments. The purpose is for full transparency for you guys.
Gotcha. And just what one group might have may not be what the next group has, right? It's just
correct.
Gotcha. Okay. So Master Sergeant Conway, here's a question from David Kirby. I'm not sure if you know this one, but he wants to know if there's a policy in place saying recruiters will not do more than 2 consecutive battalions in a brigade, and why are people still doing 3 to 4 consecutive battalions in a brigade?
Again, great question. This is a G1 question. I'll do the best I can answer, and then also I'll ask Sergeant Major Cole, who's in the background, if he has any input as well. So the policy is that they try to limit it to at least no more than 6 years within a brigade, and that's for purposes of career diversity. In certain cases, you can stay in an area longer if it's due to career progression, i.e., let's say if you are a station commander and now there's an opportunity to serve as a first sergeant in the same brigade, and it's a no-cost move or it's a cost move, they could keep you in that same brigade. Or if you have married couple issues or family EFMP issues, you could stay a little bit longer within a particular brigade. We as a proponent, we recommend you don't, to have more career diversity, so you have different raters and senior raters on your evaluations, and you have some, everybody knows in recruiting, first brigade is different from second brigade. Second brigade is different from sixth brigade. So the way you get better in this command is, you move around and experience those different locations, so that way you can see what type of different aspect of recruiting that they're doing in those particular areas.
Okay. So here's the question, and I probably could answer this one too. But this person wants to know, basically in a nutshell, is it easier for other MOSs to go detailed recruiters? This person's in the field artillery, and they wanted to detail recruit, but she said that it wasn't available. So, I believe it comes down to like strength management again. But maybe there's something that you can add to it.
Yeah, we always look for recruiters, obviously, but our process is a little bit more strenuous because, I don't only have to meet the requirements in 6011. We have POSTA requirements, which are special considerations for assignments. So there are certain things you cannot have had in your record and background that prohibit you from coming on recruiting duty, along with our, regular prequals. The second part is, I'll say with a lot of the combat arms right now, there's a big push that for shortages of critical positions where, we're actually sending a lot of recruiters back to those MOSs just to re-strengthen up their MOSs. So we are taking recruiters still, but there are certain critical MOSs where we are not restricting, not saying you can't be here, but we are cutting back some of the MOSs that we do bring out here just due to their strengths, that they're critically low.
That makes sense. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, actually. So we've actually had this question several times in the comments. Where is the marketplace, Master Guevara?
It's in your ACT, in your ACT, and you won't be able to open it until you're in the actual participant in the market. That's when you'll be able to view it.
Okay. Awesome. And so this person says they have a soldier that's been on station for 5 years. Recently, his YMAV was changed, and his ETS is FY23. What factors would cause a change in the soldier's YMAP date?
So, I mean, was the Y map adjusted pulled in or was it pushed out? So that
Okay.
I can't make
Yeah,
a
a
I
lot of
can't give a
different
good answer
factors.
without all the information,
Okay.
right? But is that soldier gonna ETS? Have they communicated that with their branch manager that they're gonna ETS? They may have made a note and let them stay, or do they pull them in so they can do one more tour? What? So that's I guess I need to know
So
where they
this person said that it was pushed out. Yeah.
what I don't want to call out the CMF. So it just depends on what communication
Yeah.
they had with their branch. You know.
So, to this viewer, I would say if you really, if this is a question that's eating at you, send us a message, to our page, and we will, work with you to try to get you some sort of answer. But this is a more personal question. So without knowing more about the soldier, it's kind of hard for us to kind of shoot off the hip and give you the wrong information. So just reach out to our page and we'll help you out. So here's another one for you, Master Guevara. How do broadening assignments affect marketplace? Do positions that require a packet take priority over the marketplace assignments that are already loaded? And can a soldier that's on assignment be removed from assignment for a broadening assignment? That was a lot.
That's a good question. That's a good question, right? So I hope no one from HRC is listening, right? How do broadening assignments affect the marketplace, right? So for 79 Sierra, we're unique MOS, right? We're one deep at every battalion, right? We don't have a group or platoon in every battalion, right? So not every position like that will go in the market because there's got to be a vetting process. There's got to be interviews. There's got to be packets, and I will not put those in the market, right? I still want the command career counselors to have some say on those
Right.
positions, right? And can a soldier on AI be removed from assignments for these broadening assignments? It depends, right? If they're coming to HRC, or if they're coming to the schoolhouse, they may consider. Especially if they're just going from like a BCT to a BCT, then I may consider deleting them.
Okay, awesome. Master Conway, we got one for you. I'm currently a tanker and have a slot to convert to 79 Romeo. Before I convert, I will be going to SLC. My question is, once I'm a 79 Romeo, will I lose my OML number and will the SLC be irrelevant?
I have to get some further guidance on that. I know we've had this situation a couple times before, I believe. What will happen is typically the HRC saying the OML number will be merged in a group of, hey, where you would have rated on an OML, like say like before, if somebody's like a 15, they would be like a 15.5 or something like that, So I don't know how that merging process does take place, and maybe I have to get some further guidance. So if they can shoot me an email directly, I can get that over to the DA Secretary and our promotions branch to further clarify that.
Okay. Master Sergeant Guevara, when you are reclassing for 79 Sierra, do you get to choose your duty station when you're in class, or do you just come up on orders?
There's a little both there, right? Sometimes they'll email me and I'll ask them to give me their top 3 preferences. But most new basic career counselors are going to go to the divisional unit because that's where the rubber meets the road, really. Most of them will go to a force comm unit, and that's just how it is, right?
Gotcha.
And then you will come on assignment. Right now, I'm finishing up the July class for October report dates. So those students will start coming on assignment here in the next couple of days.
Gotcha. Okay. Master Sergeant Woodside, Darren Bice wants to know where on the HRC website are these mentioned connected promotions?
That's a good question. I haven't been on the HRC website in a while, but I'm assuming it's under the promotions link. So if
Yeah,
you
that
just
makes
scroll, the enlisted promotions link. If you go onto the main page, there should be a menu item up to, or no, yeah, I think you got to scroll down a little bit, and there's like a little block that says promotions. Click on that, and then just keep drilling down until you find it.
All right. Cool. All right. So we are getting a lot of these questions in about Ask 'em, and I didn't think we were going to get them. But so here's another one. What role does the branch managers play when it comes to soldiers and assignments?
When you ask them, what role does a branch manager play when it comes to soldiers and assignments? So we're looking at assignment diversity, really, right? Career progression based off of your career map. That's how we're going to try and line you up and make sure it makes sense, right? The algorithm, the database is going to line you up, and it's our job to review it and make sure it makes sense. But it's soldier preference. So soldier preference and full transparency is what we're going to. That's one of the purposes of this marketplace. And we're just here to watch and make sure it works out.
Okay. So here's another one for you. Will soldiers scheduled to PCS between October 2021 and March 2022 with low OML numbers have their moves affected?
I'm gonna have you're gonna have to refer to your CMF, your branch manager, right? Because I can tell you something that I'm gonna do with my population, but your branch may do something different. So you're gonna have to contact your branch manager, and they'll be able to answer that for you. It's not a top secret, but they may have different rules right now.
Gotcha. Okay. Here's one. For a service member that's coming down on assignment to recruiter, because of the marketplace, do they have a location preference to recruit, or is it still considered as needs of the Army?
No, they still will get their, you still get your preferences, so they'll give you a list of preferences that you would like to go to, and then make sure that, like I said, any outstanding needs that you have or family situations that will prevent you from going or prohibit you from going out of a certain location or preferably to a certain location. So you will get a preference if that's the answer, if you are a detailed recruiter.
Okay. So I am. Oh, here's another one. Is there a way to add SMUs to the marketplace?
Who asked that? Ashley Williams? No, I don't think so at this time. Things may change in the future, though. There's a vetting process. There's a vetting process for those assignments,
Gotcha. Okay. So I think that we have answered a lot of these questions. We're going to bring Sergeant Block back on so that we can close this one out. And like I've told a couple people on here, that if you have more personal questions regarding your situation, you can reach out to the Army Reenlistment Facebook team, or, reach out to your branch manager or your proponent and let them help you individually. It's a lot better for them to tell you your specific case than for us to shoot off the hip. But Sergeant Block, you go ahead.
Thanks, Shantae. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of our guests tonight. I know you guys got a lot of the same questions over and over, but I appreciate you taking the time to be here with us. So a shout out that I wanted to do right quick was to Master Sergeant Eberhardt over at 10th Mountain. She's she's a senior operations over there, and she's killing it. So I just wanted to give a shout out to you. Do any of our guests, do you have any shout outs that you want to do to, for any of your people or soldiers or anything like that? Now's your chance. Make them Facebook famous.
I don't have particulars, but I am going to shout out all those detailed recruiters or 79 Romeos that joined. So hopefully this is a platform you can utilize in the future. And if they invite me back, I'll definitely come back, or we'll try to get any staff that can help facilitate some of your questions on here. So it's a great platform. So great job what you're doing out there, and thank you.
Awesome. So I heard Master Sergeant Guevara say something about 100 Club or something earlier. What were you saying?
Yeah. There's a couple groups I want to give a shout out to, right? All the personnel at HRC, right? This marketplace was new. We went to our first iteration, and they all did a phenomenal job, right? A lot of questions, a lot of changes. So shout out to HRC, right? The HRC analysts and the schoolhouse instructors, right? They do a phenomenal job. But by name list, career counselors wear many hats. We're counselors. We're marriage counselors. We're sergeant major's right hand person.
Right.
We wear many hats, but our number one job is to re-enlist folks, right? Effect readiness. That's our number one job, I feel, right? So we
Right.
have this 100 club, right? Soldiers that have re-enlisted over 100 personnel this fiscal year. And I want to shout out these soldiers' names. Staff Sergeant Bingham, Sergeant First Class Ellison, Sergeant First Class Mello, Staff Sergeant Tapia, Sergeant First Class Gonzalez, Sergeant Rosati, Staff Sergeant Brim, Staff Sergeant Coran, Staff Sergeant Andrade, Staff Sergeant Weir, Staff Sergeant Shields, Sergeant First Class Christensen, Staff Sergeant Bruce Toski, Staff Sergeant Montano, Staff Sergeant Serrano, and Staff Sergeant Collada. Right, but Staff Sergeant Bingham killing it, like with 179. So,
Wow.
Congratulations to those guys. Keep pushing. You guys are killing it out there.
Awesome. All righty. Master on Woodside?
Yeah, I got a couple of shout outs too. So I saw somebody posted earlier something about USARAC. I'm wearing my USARAC hoodie. I appreciate it. So shout out to, I think it was Jay Ree that said that. So I also want to give a shout out, like Master Angabar said, to the instructors and the developers up at the Recruiting Retention College. They all do a phenomenal job from the 79 Romeo and 79 Sierra side. They're helping shape our fields from the beginning. So they do a great job. I also want to shout out the 101st retention team that invited me and Master Angabar down last week. Sergeant Major Bastian, Sergeant Probst, and Sergeant Dodd. They showed us a good time, and I really appreciate it. They even gave me a nice little bourbon glass that I plan on drinking out of this week. So, appreciate it, guys.
Drinking water out of this week.
And last but not least, Sergeant Major Cameron, get well soon. He just had shoulder surgery. Hope to see you back on that softball field soon.
Awesome. Well, I guess it's my turn. I'm going to go ahead and shout out the 18th Airborne Corps for giving me this awesome hoodie tonight. Also, a very special shout out to one of the career counselors in the SFAB, First Class Hutcherson. She is a good friend of mine, and she will be the new Force Com Retention Operations NCO. So I'm really excited to have her here so that I can learn more from her. And so I'm really excited. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in for another live with the Army Reenlistment team. We have just placed a schedule for the rest of the month on our website and on our Facebook page. So tomorrow, this is a doubleheader for you guys. Tomorrow we'll have the 10th Mountain Division Sergeant Major on here, as well as the Command Career Counselor for 10th Mountain. And we just have a lot of great shows lined up for you guys. So I hope you continue to tune in. If you don't catch the show live tonight, it'll be reposted on our page, on our Facebook, and on our YouTube. So be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. It's always ArmyReenlistment.com. And that is it. We will see you guys tomorrow. Be sure to tune in.